Hey guys, what's going on? It is now the middle of March essentially, and we're getting very close to the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series starring both Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back as Kenobi and Darth Vader again. That's really going to spring off of what we saw in Revenge of the Sith and the overall tone of the prequel trilogy and how that's going to be inserted into the Kenobi TV series directed by Deborah Chow. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do make sure to post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really interact with you guys further. So it's even all the more exciting right now is that we are getting very close to, of course, the Kenobi series releasing on May 25th. That's going to be a very big and special day for the Star Wars fans. But one thing about George, Jon, and Dave is that they are all working together as a team, as this trio, to really bring Star Wars back to its roots. They're going to be bringing in a lot of Star Wars Legends material and mixing it in together with the Disney canon lore. And that's going to really give us a very unique version of the franchise. Now, that's one thing that some hardcore fans are a little skeptical about. You know, some fans really want to see it pretty much 100% accurate the way it was from Legends, but they have to adapt to what already exists, so they have to kind of shoot through some hoops to kind of make some changes here and there. Now, with that being said, everything related to what's been going on between, Lucasfilm as a company with George, Jon, and Dave working together, really making sure to bring Star Wars back in action. With the Book of Boba Fett, we obviously realized that was a bit of a speed bump for the fans and the community around the globe. It was a very, complex series of feedback from the fans to Disney and Lucasfilm because some episodes were great, some episodes fell flat, I will be honest. And that one show just seemed a little inconsistent in comparison to shows like The Mandalorian. Now, with that being said, however, Disney and Lucasfilm are currently preparing to make some big changes for the Star Wars universe that will be made canon by 2023 and 2024 that is going to reshape the Star Wars lore for the entire fandom. Now, creators George Lucas and Dave Filoni are described to be very much involved with a substantial plan that will involve resetting aspects of the prequel trilogy movies when it comes to the Star Wars lore. Now, further, it's described that currently one major change that both Lucas and Filoni are making together for the prequel trilogy lore is that they are going to be inserting a brand new character into the timeline and exactly how Anakin Skywalker fell to the dark side of the Force. Now, it's noted that Lucas and Filoni are set to make it canon that it was already, of course, Tor Valum, master of both Plagueis and Palpatine, that guided Sidious on how to turn Anakin Skywalker to the dark side while he was actually pulling the true strings behind the scenes and behind in the shadows. Now, let me just stop right there for 1 second. In case you guys have no idea, who in the world is Tor Valum? This was an ancient Sith being that was going to be used in the Duel of the Fates movie, the original version of Episode 9 by Colin Trevorrow. And it was quite unfortunate that we did not get this character. This was supposed to be a new villain that was going to actually replace Supreme Leader Snoke, and instead they went with what we got in the final cut of the movie by JJ. Moving on. So, Lucas and Filoni want to actually create something larger, that this ancient Sith creature was the one who pulled the entire strings of Palpatine and Plagueis from start to finish, and that this was a Sith Lord that was originally created for the Duel of the Fates film by Colin Trevorrow before he was fired, that is now going to be made officially canon. Now, they are going to be making it canon that Tor Valum is alive during the prequel trilogy movies and communicating with Palpatine behind the scenes and the spirit of Darth Plagueis on how to corrupt Anakin step by step. So, this is going to really drastically change how fans view Anakin Skywalker turning to the dark side, how Palpatine operated in pretty much, the stripping down process of Anakin Skywalker to becoming Darth Vader, taking him piece by piece of his humanity. And when you look at everything related to that, I really do feel that this is a big change in the Star Wars lore that some fans may feel a little off about, a little skeptical over, or a little worried about. Now, when you look at a big change like this, that it was not essentially Palpatine pulling the strings all along, not even Darth Plagueis' spirit, but Tor Valum this ancient Sith creature from afar in the unknown regions, reaching out to Sidious, telling him exactly what to do from every step of the way. It's kind of interesting, I will be honest. It is a very interesting concept of what they're trying to do right now, and what they are currently going to be making officially canon by next year. It really kind of just gives you a different perspective of the prequel trilogy and how they're going to really insert at that as well, not just in the canon, but also in live action form in future Star Wars TV shows, and how that's going to be done as well. So further, this in turn is going to lead to an even more powerful Sith Lord than ever before, of course, that will reshape the lore of the prequel trilogy movies. Tor Valum is described to also be responsible for Darth Plagueis and how he corrupted Palpatine, and that Valum saw visions of the rise of Darth Vader well before Palpatine was even born, and would even make sure that this vision, of course, would be made into a reality, to actually bring an end to the Jedi, of course. Now, the design of Tor Valum is set to change drastically in comparison to how he was illustrated by Colin Trevorrow in the Duel of the Fates movie, and will have a very unique design still in the Star Wars canon. This change also leads to Tor Valum telling Palpatine on how to actually initiate Order 66, using the clone troopers to attack the Jedi as seen in Revenge of the Sith. It's going to be a big change and game changer that Filoni and Lucas now, of course, need to be handled very carefully with, and that they are taking this change with caution, and to make sure that it truly fits together well for the fandom. Now, it's going to also feature that Tor Valum guided Palpatine on how to create false visions in Anakin's mind about losing Padme Amidala to childbirth, and how they would actually use that corrupt way to actually pretty much devolve the character of Anakin Skywalker. Tor Valum is described to have been the true master of Sidious after Palpatine betrayed Plagueis in his sleep, and it's going to be a monumental change to the Star Wars lore that actually some may not accept in the Star Wars prequels lore, that will now involve new elements of Palpatine's story. So here's the big deal about this. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this big change that's going to be made officially canon by the middle of 2023. The thing about this is that when you look at the prequels and when you look at the Star Wars lore, it's all about Palpatine, right? And by making Tor Valum pulling the true strings behind the scenes, yes, it does open a gateway to a lot of possibilities and a lot of new stories to tell, but at the same exact time, it might even devalue Palpatine's grand plan in a way that it really wasn't all his doing. That's my only concern, is that it might, change a lot of that. So they're going to be incorporating this not into just regular canon like books, novels, and comics, but also into future Star Wars TV shows in the forms of flashbacks and in the forms of dialogue from specific characters. Kind of similar to how the Armorer talked about, Tar Vizsla in the Book of Boba Fett, of how he was a Mandalorian and a Jedi that created the Darksaber. It's going to be something like that. Flashbacks, dialogue, stuff around those lines that will actually make this canon to pretty much all of the Star Wars fans to realize this. So that's the major plan by George, John, and Dave to change aspects of the prequel trilogy lore, and I'm just not quite sure how the fans are going to respond. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Tor Valum being made canon and the true puppeteer here of Star Wars. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.